I'm Sarah de Lagarde, and I describe myself as 80% human and 20% bionic. Reason for that is I've been in a terrible train incident that cost me my right arm and right leg. And for the arm, I've been fitted with a bionic arm that features artificial intelligence.
Hi, I'm Matt Watts. I'm the Chief Technology Evangelist for NetApp, and my role is really looking at the possibilities of data, how it can affect industries, how it can affect jobs, how it can affect people in a very personal way.
I guess the story starts in August 2022, when my husband and I successfully climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And at that point, I had all my 4 limbs. And I thought, reaching the top, that I was invincible, that nothing bad could ever happen to me. And yet, a month later, I hit rock bottom because I commuted home after work on a Friday and lost my balance on a platform and fell in between the platform and the stationary train through the gap. And nobody heard me or saw my fall. And the train departed and crushed my right arm above the elbow. The second train came into the station and claimed my right leg below the knee. It's an absolute miracle that I'm still alive. Doctors said that I should have died at least 10 times that night, but I was rescued and flown to the Royal London Hospital, where unfortunately my limbs had to be amputated. And today I've been fitted with this incredible bionic arm and a cool prosthetic leg as well. It takes a little bit of getting used to, I would say, and in the beginning it was a lot more difficult, and now it's starting slowly to become part of me to a point that after my battery life is about 8 hours, and once I need to recharge the arm, which much to my daughter's delight is similar to charging a mobile phone. It's almost like it's become part of me. So I actually miss it when I take my arm off and almost reach for something and then realizing, actually, I'm not wearing it today. Or not wearing it now.
NetApp, we focus on helping companies build intelligent data infrastructures. How that came together with COVVI was that they needed to build a strategy around data, around making sure that the data that powers the prosthetic that Sarah is using here was in the right place at the right time, in the right format, such that people could really do something with it. And that's effectively what we do. So I talked to Simon Pollard, who's the CEO for COVVI. So he and I have spoken a few times so that I really understand what is it that's different about COVVI, what is it that's different about what they're doing than other companies. There's a lot of companies working on prosthetics. And Simon's very, very clear. He says it's fundamentally the way we use data. He said it's the way that we have data coming back from the prosthetic such that we can learn from it, that we can understand how people are using it in real life, how frequently do they wear it, what are the motions that they put it through. He said it's data that enables us to build gestures that we can then push into an app that certain users, if they want to, can then use the COVVI app to be able to train the limb to do certain things, to do different grips. So he said that's the fundamental difference, is how do we use data as a way of understanding how people are using this technology in real life such that we can make it better, we can make more improvements.
So every time there is an update on a hand gesture, then I can access that anywhere in the world, really. It does function in a way that you start looking at your limb as a tool, and so the way you decide on which grip patterns are important to you is because you use it on a day-to-day basis. So you realize that the grip that I use most is this 3-finger pinch. But it is good to know that for any task, there is a grip pattern that I can use. So it takes a little while to learn how to speak prosthetics. So basically, I spend about 3 months training the understanding of having electrodes placed strategically on top of your skin to read the muscle movements that my residual limb still has. So it takes a while to understand that it is not or never intended to replace your biological arm, but it gets as close as possible to make this a very useful tool. And so over time, Whereas in the beginning, it was very, very difficult. A little bit like driving a car for the first time, when you're very concentrated, using a lot of brain power. And over time, the more I used the arm, the more it collected the data, and the more it established those patterns. And recognizing those patterns helped me understand how the gestures could be made more efficiently. But also it allowed me to multitask. So being able to talk to you and at the same time move my limb, which wasn't possible before. So the AI part is already functioning in the way that it recognizes patterns. So every time I use the arm, data gets collected, as you mentioned, and the AI function of this is to establish the patterns, recognize which ones I make most often, and then helps me complete those gestures more efficiently. What is quite useful is the fact that it helps me realize what gesture I would like to make. And so with that experience that the limb collects over time, it can sense what gesture I'm going to make next. So if I say I want to open up my hand, I don't need to concentrate to a point where I completely open up the hand. I just need to give it that little trigger at the beginning, and then it understands, oh, this is what you want to do, making it a lot faster and useful.